Okay, we are working on section 5.5, operations on functions. And the first thing I want you to do is pause this and copy down the core concept that's on page 270 and the beginning of this video. Okay, so now we're going to be working with different functions. I have f of x, which is negative 2x to the 2/3, and g of x, which is 7x to the 2/3. And I'm going to color code this to make it a little bit easier. The first one is just adding. They want you to add the f function and then add to the g function. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to, learning how to use my tablet here. So the f function is negative 2x to the 2/3. And to that, I'm going to add the g function, which is 7x to the 2/3. Okay, when you're adding exponents, as long as they're the same, yes, that's x to the 2/3, x to the 2/3, we can add those together, so it's pretty simple. Add the coefficients, negative 2 and 7, that makes 5x to the 2/3. And that is your answer. So the second part is they want you to plug in 8. So I'm now going to take what my new function of adding them together, and instead of x, I'm going to plug in 8. Okay, simple enough. I'm going to put 5 times 8 to the 2/3, and 8 to the 2/3, that means the cube root of 8 is 2, and 2 squared is 4, so this answer is going to be 20. So the second part of monitoring progress wants you to take the same two functions, f of x, which is negative 2x to the 2/3, and g of x, which is 7x to the 2/3. And this time, instead of adding them, they want you to subtract them. So f of x times of x, and they want you to subtract them. Oh, I forgot to color code it. Let's go back and do that. So I'm going to take the first one, and then I'm going to subtract from it the second function. And again, since the exponents are the same here, all we need to do is just subtract them. So negative 2 and negative 7 make negative 9x to the 2/3. That's our new function. Now, the second part of this wants you to take the new function, and they want you to plug in 8. So I'm going to take this, negative 9, and I'm going to put in 8 here to the 2/3. 8, the cube root of 8 is 2. 2 squared is 4, which makes this negative 36. We're going to do monitoring progress 2, and this is where we have two new functions. F of x is 3x, and g of x is x to the 1/5. And this time, we're going to be multiplying the two functions together. Okay, so here's the first function, 3x. And to that, we're going to multiply g of x. Now, remember your rules here for your exponents. This is really x to the first, but it's really x to the 5/5 is another way to write it. And the rules are when you multiply it, you're going to add the exponents. So this is going to be 3x to the 6/5. Then they want you to evaluate it for 32. So we have our new function. Oops. Instead of 32, I'm going to erase that. Sorry, instead of x, we're going to put 32 in there. Okay, so 3 times 32 to the 6/5. Good. And the fifth root of 32 is 2, and then 2 to the 6th power, so that would be 3 times 2 to the 6th power is going to be 64, and then 3 times 64 is going to be 192. Monitoring progress 2 is now we're going to divide the functions. So I have f of x here, which is 3x. And that's going to be divided by g of x, which is x to the 1/5. And again, if you remember your rules, when you're dividing, you're really going to be subtracting my exponents. So that's really 5 over 5, since it's x to the first, so we're going to subtract them. So 3 divided by 3 divided by 1 is 3. And then we're going to subtract these, which is going to make it x to the 4/5. And that is my new function. Then they want you to evaluate the new function for 32. So I'm going to take 32 to the 4/5. And then I know that the 5th root of 32 is 2. 2 to the 4th is 16. So 3 times 16 is 48.